It is the end of June, and that means it is time for Twin Cities Pride 2024 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I was getting a few pieces ready for this event, trying to increase the number of pieces that I had. And as you see towards the end, creating those pieces definitely paid off. But here we go for our setup time at Twin Cities Pride in Loring Park, Minnesota. Okay, it is day 0 and we're getting ready to go downtown, and this is going to take place in Minneapolis for Pride weekend.
Loring Park.
Yeah, and it is rainy out, so we'll see. So day 0, we just have to set up, and the actual event doesn't take place until Saturday and Sunday. It looks like it's probably going to be better weather, considering that last week was just kind of like, last weekend was downpour, so we're hoping for better weather. It is cloudy, it's drizzly, it did rain already, so the ground's going to be wet, so this may not be as fun of a setup. We'll try to get some shots as we're putting everything together. We have a brand new tent that we haven't tried out before, so this should be an interesting experience, but hopefully it's as easy as our last one that we had. We had to upgrade because with the weather, we didn't know. Our other one had like venting holes and things, and last time we had a rainy event, we got rain inside, so we're trying to prevent that. And we wanted a white interior for brighter inside instead of having a red tint, because we had a red tarp, and like inside it was also like it was silver on the inside and red on the outside, but we still kind of got like a shadow, so we want bright, and this one has a higher ceiling. So let's hope this all works. We did get this all to fit, but we did take away a lot of bins that we were using, and maybe trying to make things a little bit more efficient space-wise. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Let's go.
All right, I always like to show a little bit of us actually driving on the way there, just because, well, this is local and we don't have to pay for hotel or anything. The logistics of trying to actually get into the area that we're supposed to be at was all brand new. So in Minnesota, we call summer season also construction season, so that was a big factor because there were different construction projects going on, and they had roads closed off for this event specifically, so we're just kind of following some other people, as you can see around the corner, but they had barricades all around the park area, and we were just trying to figure out how we are supposed to actually get set up. And there's other people, as you can see, that pulled off and were backing up that didn't know where they were going either, because there's probably a lot of out-of-town people. But trust me, even though I've worked downtown for several years, still had to figure this out. And then you see this, a road closed sign, so trying to figure out, is it okay if we go around this? We did have to keep from our packet all of the vouchers and permits that said we were allowed to actually be in the closed off area and have those ready for on our dash. There were like 3 different ones, and we had to show a specific one for our route, and they zone everything by color, and we happen to be in the purple zone. So we're trying to figure out which entrance and exit we go out of. And as you can see, it's like we are, towards the later part of the events too, like when we had to tear down, we were a little bit tired. So it's like they have the sign there. They had part of it open, but they did block all of that off, and this side street was the only one that was open for like emergency services and other things. But we're turning, and we actually are driving, which is so strange. We're told to drive onto the pathways, so walking and biking pathways of Loring Park in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there's the guy asking for the voucher, the permit that says we're allowed to drive in, and we gave him the wrong one, or we had the other one up and it was the wrong one, so we had to kind of look through our packet, and we just try to keep our whole packet that they gave us in the car along with our booth number. And then you can see that we're just kind of waiting to get instructions of which direction to drive. And as you'll see later on, when we were trying to pack up to leave, we went the wrong direction. We had to turn around because we didn't know if we were supposed to drive out kind of the same pathway as we got back in, but it turns out that we did. And so we're just driving really slowly. There were lots of little golf carts and everybody walking around. They staff with volunteers that were very helpful. um, and for this event, which was very good to see. They had people cleaning up, they had people going around for security, they had other people just checking to see that everybody's okay. They had different first aid sites, they had a free water and ice tent, which as we went through the event, it was beautiful weather. It's Friday. Didn't know if we were going to have to set up in the rain. It had rained a little bit before we got there, but we totally lucked out this weekend because it was raining cats and dogs last weekend. I mean, we had major flooding in the southern part of Minnesota, and even like some of our amusement parks and things they're covered in rain, inches and feet of rain right now. So we were just happy that things were drier on the pathways. There were some puddles and other things, and we were just really excited because we had two blessed and beautiful days, Saturday and Sunday, that just happened to clear up for this event. So I think everybody who participated, and there's over 400 different participants, at least for like the arts and for those who own small businesses that are local. And there were tons of different food options. There were tons of other places representing all the communities. And this weekend is all about acceptance and just being and doing, who you are. And so we are just really excited about being part of this. And we had no idea, like, this is just setup day. We don't know how things are going to go. So it was a little bit, I was like nervous just because I don't know ever like how people are going to respond to our things. And I shouldn't by this point because we have been doing pretty well at events. But I always just kind of get that nervous feeling just because this is the first time that we've done this event. We've heard good things from other people, but you can't even always go by that because sometimes we're next to other people as well that they don't do as well as we do, or they do better. I mean, it's all over the place at events, so you just got to give things a try and see, what the event is like. But we're just trying to find our space right now. And other people must have been there super early compared to us, but we had a time of 3 to 5, so they must have had a different window. And we're trying to find our space, which is, as you see, it's going to be in between these upcoming tents here. It's actually where the little tables are kind of like laid out. And the other people that are next to us are part of city and other organizations, so they don't really have to set up necessarily different like pieces that they are selling. And we have lots of handmaids and things, and we're coming up to the tent where we didn't know, we're in between a couple places, and we're just trying to figure out how exactly we're supposed to set up our tent. So I'll let you take a look and see what we're doing as we try to figure everything out, and even where to park so that we're not in the way, so that other people who are setting up can find their own place to drive in and get their things set up as well. And there were times where we were kind of lost in what we were doing, but luckily the volunteers and other people in the organizer group just helped us out a lot. All right, my husband is kind of waiting for me to help, but I just thought I'd show you. We don't really have a good spot to park We have all of our stuff out, so we're just getting ready to set up and then close everything up. And here's our brand new tent that we got that will hopefully give us a little bit brighter inside. All right, here's how it's looking. We did actually get help from some of our neighbors as far as setting up the tent because we didn't know like how the middle part's supposed to go, if it actually snaps into place or how that works, or if it's just kind of springy. And we're thinking that it's supposed to be springy because there was no actually like snapping sound. It's just as long as the top parts are snapped into place on the four legs, the four corners. So you can see there's like red little tabs on the inside. As long as that's snapped into place, that means that somehow that is working correctly. We see some other people just have like, they have their tents, but they don't have any of their items really. They just have their setup things. So we're kind of wondering if we're doing things, and then we see some people have their things closed off. So this should be interesting. There's our new sign. We have to bring the battery and everything tomorrow. We have the tent all closed up, and we're putting an extra layer on the front side because there's a zipper. And we have our stands up, but as you can see, we don't have our stuff out yet. So we're just putting an extra layer, and hopefully it doesn't storm or anything too bad. And this is the inside, but we have to lift up and go out and under through the middle before this is all ready to go. But we're set up. All right, our tent is all closed up and we're ready to get going. And here's the funny part that we kind of laughed at. We didn't know how to get out of here, even though they gave us a map. And so we were just driving along and trying to figure out which direction we're supposed to be turning. We passed those two cones that we weren't supposed to, and then there were geese that were down here. But I saw other people parked down here, so I thought this was the direction I was supposed to go. Well, it was the opposite on the map, and we were driving, and then we got to a part where there were other gates and there's people blocking right there so that other people can't even get through, and we had to have a volunteer help turn us around and tell us the direction that we're supposed to be going. And so we got turned around, and then one of the other creators who owns like a clothing area helped clear the geese because they were just sitting there and they wouldn't move out of the way. So she helped kind of like scoot them out of the pathway so that we could actually get going. But they were obviously in no hurry. And you can see she's trying to move her hanger so that they move. And this is just one example of how very helpful and just really nice the other people are that were there. And they were all just there too to not only participate, but just to have a good time and enjoy the weekend, enjoy the atmosphere. And you can see we're driving back out to our booth, and we were booth number 69, which they seem to reserve kind of for brand new people. And we're passing up our area where our tents all zipped up. You can see it right there off to the right, all closed up, and next to open tents that probably don't have anything really that they need to bring until tomorrow morning. But now we're driving back out the same way that we came in, and we thankfully are getting everything kind of like figured out, and other people who maybe don't know where they're going either because they stopped. As you can see, they're blocking our way, and we're trying to figure out like how we can get around obstacles around the little like ponds area that they have. And just kind of nervous and excited for the next day and what's to come, and to be able to see everything. We didn't know, like we don't know at this point like how busy it's going to be for the event, and so we don't know if there's going to be time to kind of look around at things or how many attendees are even going to be coming this year. And so that is something that we did have to kind of figure out, and I I'll talk a little bit about that later. But as you can see, they blocked off that area for all the people that have come in. And so now we have to go a different direction to get back out. So the very entrance from the street is different when you're leaving. And we had to try to follow the little maps that they drew, which they did a very good job. I'm just, my sense of direction, I need GPS, man. And we're inside of a park, so you don't really have that because these are not streets. These are walking paths within the park itself. But you can see all the buildings, the information and history booth. We just passed that. One thing that I wasn't looking forward to was using the biffies, but that's a whole other topic. And but what I am looking forward to is just seeing all of the other artists and all of the handmaids and all of the other creators that are running different small businesses. And being able to look around, and we were trying to see, like at this point I'm just kind of looking and scanning to see if I can spot any of the other people that we know, but there were so many that it was kind of hard to keep track of. So but we had to stop a couple times and kind of ask some other people if we're going the right direction, and trying to not go beyond some of the areas that you see that are gated off and coned, and trying to go around other people who are also trying to get set up and that are walking on the path. And as you see coming up, there are other people that don't realize that this is supposed to be for people who are going to be participating and contributing, and that are trying to get it set up for the booth, because you can see right here we're going to get stopped for a little while by a couple friends that are reconnecting with each other. But unfortunately at this point we're tired. It's been like maybe a couple hours after getting everything all kind of like squared away in our tent area, and they don't even see that we're trying to exit out of the park area. But as you can see, it was a little bit of a waiting game before they actually noticed. And obviously, because they are in a like motorized like wheelchair vehicle, I didn't want to be rude, but they were there for quite a long time, probably longer than I actually filmed. And then we finally were able to get past because they noticed us finally, and we're back out onto the streets and the apartments that are around Loring Park. And somehow we managed to navigate this. And by this point I was all excited as far as the exiting, because I actually knew where we were. We are by the convention center, and we've done a couple events in there last year and this year, so I was all excited because I knew which roads to take to get out of there. Whereas we did notice there were some other new people that were probably from out of town that didn't know where they were going, because they kept stopping, and we're getting stuck behind them because they didn't know like the car ahead of us to whether or not to like go left or right. And there were people driving kind of crazy and all over the place, and making last minute decisions. So just had to kind of be patient and try to make our way out of here. But here we are, leaving downtown and getting ready for the next day. And since our setup time was from 3 to 5, we were starving at this point, and so we decided to stop off at the Mall of America because it's by our place that we live, and go to our Kira Sushi, which is one of our favorite stops on the third floor of the Mall of America in Bloomington, and get an order here. And there's some of our sushi, and then we ordered drinks. We love the little robots. There were two robots that were passing each other, trying to figure out who was going to pass them. So we thought it was kind of funny. One of them is actually playing the drinks, and you can see there's some little eyes, they play little music, and then there's our drinks, and you see the table over that is all areas, seating areas, and we're just getting our food and having a really good time. All right, we are here again. We're a little bit rushed because we're running late. So we're here for day number 1. This only goes Saturday and Sunday for TC Pride, and this is in downtown Minneapolis. We finished setting up our tent last night, and hopefully we will be ready for today. we lucked out. Last weekend, downpours again, like I said, but this weekend it shows that it's supposed to be actually like Sunday for Saturday and Sunday. So we're gonna see if that holds true. Here we go. All right, we're getting unloaded. We at least made it to the parking lot. We're down at Dunwoody and just parking and trying to get everything ready so that we can get to our booth on time, which we have a little bit of a hike considering where we are, but it's not gonna be too bad because we don't have to go way to the other end of the park. So, all right, here we go. There the dash is. There is the end of the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden. There's the museum in the distance and the famous rooster. And the cherry with the spoon is in the distance. And we have to go under this bridge over here in order to get to the park. So we do have quite of a walk, but we paid for our voucher, so we don't need to worry about parking, which is one obstacle if you have an event downtown that you have to consider. Just because you can't park on the street and everything is metered even on Saturday in downtown. Now I have to say we're passing by all the small businesses that are around Loring Park in downtown Minneapolis, and the hike to actually get to our booth is way on the other side of the little pond area that they have. So sorry if this is a little bit shaky because I'm carrying stuff and trying to walk on the uneven sidewalks there. Just trying to make our way, and I would say
just trying to think about the best way to navigate the park here to get to our booth.
And we are excited by what we saw.
I think we're over in the blue zone and we need to get to purple.
Food options and things that we wanted to stop and look at later on if there was time. So, and I was so happy because I saw bubble tea stands, and I love
I know, there's
bubble
a sign
tea.
I like to see early in the morning. Bubble tea.
Because I do little bubble tea every
Hopefully that'll be set up
things.
soon.
So we're just passing through here again. Sorry
There's
for
bubble
the
tea house
shakiness
right
that's
there.
going on.
And
But we're trying to
donuts.
make our way through, and it's about 7 o'clock in the morning.
we're on the main path, so hopefully this is taking us to where we need to get to for our booth. I think we have to take a turn coming up.
Sunday as well. So we're trying to find where
Everybody else is getting set up too. It looks like some other people were here super early as well.
But we're having a little weigh-in so that we
I hear things going.
That was an addition. And there's other people getting set up.
You okay?
And getting ready.
It's kind of funny.
All right, we are still getting set up. I just started putting out the items on our grid wall. We did bring an extra table since we have a little more room in front so we can showcase some of our newer items that are 3D printed. But check out our new sign. We did leave the sidewalls in case it gets windy so that my things that are small don't blow away. And he has some light things too, but here we are, we're getting ready. Okay, we are actually all set up early. We have about maybe a little more than half an hour. We have our new sign up and we have our grid wall, and then we decided to put this table up. But there we are. Everything is ready to go.
This is kind of the church stuff we have to see.
Well, it's supposed to be, but you know, it's really interesting. They probably live with spirits, so, you know, right down the way are over the St. Some dignity. You know, we got the whole
All are
spectrum.
welcome.
We got the whole spectrum. So, you know, there you have it.
There is one of our fellow creators and authors, and he also has really cute plushies. And we just saw him at the Canterbury Park Spring Festival.
Like a magnet, remember? And you just flip over and it just says dirty on the one.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You should think about doing one like that.
All right. My
my husband is still putting everything into the car that we are taking back. Check out what I got. This is day one from somebody who helped us. Her name is Kylie, and they do the cat and dog paws. And she helped us out today because our internet connection kept going down. Lifesaver. I'm almost sold out of almost all of my things and all my categories that I have that are handmade, so this should be interesting. We did really well today down here at Twin Cities Pride, and I'm tired. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't get much sleep last night, and it's probably going to be a late night tonight to see if I can make anything. And then my husband's getting back into the car, but that's it for day number 2, and we didn't even have time to really show you like teardown or like closing down of before day number 2, which will be tomorrow. So I mean, day number 1 was today and day number 2 is tomorrow, and that's our final day. It's only Saturday and Sunday, but just really good day, really good responses from everybody. Very, very busy, so busy that it interfered with our signal on our phone. So hopefully we learn from the carrier that we have, which is T-Mobile, that we maybe need a different Wi-Fi from a different carrier just in case. But yeah, very interesting. So hopefully she might help us out tomorrow as well, because what they charge daily for Wi-Fi is a little ridiculous. It's really expensive. So yes, we're going into the next day, and we might have missed a few cash transactions on our sheet, but we are ready to head home.
All right, as we head back out and reviewing the footage, I realized how tired I was. We're passing by again the Walker Museum for Modern Art, and they have their sculpture garden, but just Fuzzbutt Boutique, and that is run by Kylie. Just can't even express how appreciative and thankful we were for her help due to the Wi-Fi situation. And that's just one, another example, I should say, of, just how helpful other people are that are doing the same thing that we are. So just another big thank you to Fuzzbutt Boutique for helping us.
All right, in the sunlight here, hair's a little bit crazy. Good morning. It's our last day. It is Sunday, day number 2. We did really well yesterday. I have a couple empty like miniature acrylic shelves, and we'll show you when we get back. We are almost out of everything. So this was a really, really a good show to be at, and lots of fun, lots of people. The only downer was like our Wi-Fi. We needed extra help. Thankfully, we have like an angel at this show who really helped us out with getting us extra Wi-Fi and everything, so that we didn't have to pay the hefty fee that they wanted to use their Wi-Fi, which could probably be spotty for the city. So luckily we made it through yesterday, and hopefully we don't have the same issues. But we did lose some people, but luckily people came back and bought what they were going to purchase yesterday, because we would have lost a lot of sales. In fact, probably some people, when they returned, they decided not to get everything that they had originally wanted. So it was kind of a bummer, but hopefully next time we'll have a better option for Wi-Fi. So yeah. All right.
Are you wearing my shirt?
I am wearing a shirt today. I like the shirt. So it's a cactus shirt, and I just wanted layers. So I like a tank top, and because I was really cold under our tent, which is a good thing. Our white tent is very good upon testing for this event versus our red tent, because it's much brighter in our tent, and I see why everybody else uses the white tents, because it's less like tint and it's much brighter inside. All right, here we go.
So we got there really early, and we had time in the morning to walk around, and we are also going to get the additional like router that Kylie was so generously able to provide, because she had a second one for day number 2, and she was going to let us pick it up. So we're just making our way back across the pond and over to the other side of the event, and you can see all the maps and the signage that they had up as we cross the bridge over through the garden area and towards the beer garden to be able to pick up the additional router that she was letting us use. And she said that if we ever had trouble again and she's at another event, that she would, we could just stop by and ask for help. But we're going to try to see if we can maybe find our own plan that's similar to hers. So, and this is kind of like a pay it forward, because we had actually helped out some other vendors at previous events that weren't able to get the signal. Now, surprisingly, they also had Verizon, but they may not have had the business plan or the equipment that Kylie did. So we let them use our T-Mobile hotspot so that they could do all their transactions. And I know that they would experience the same situation where they didn't have an option to do what Square does allow you to do, which is run offline, but that's always a risk because you may not be able to get some of those back. So that is something to consider. I've heard, and I asked Kylie a lot of questions about whether or not her business plan for Verizon and the routers and everything worked inside of the convention centers that she normally goes to, which is a number one problem for anybody who's a creator. And she said that she's never had a problem, even in the building, the Rose Building in Chicago, that a lot of people have trouble getting Wi-Fi signals at. And these places or these organizations, because it's probably expensive for them, they charge sometimes astronomical amounts for you to use the Wi-Fi per day. So at this one, it ranged from $175 to over $200 per day to be able to use their Wi-Fi, and it may be spotty at best. So we didn't want to have to pay that, and so a lot of times, like neighbors sometimes are like us, we were willing to help out other people. And like Kylie, she was generous enough to help us as well. But that is something to consider, and advice and tips that we wanted to share with anybody else who's a creator of what we have found and heard from other people who go inside of those like big, huge cement and brick convention centers, that her Wi-Fi she doesn't have trouble with. Everything is just so bright and colorful for the colors again for this weekend. It was really nice to be able to walk around and see everything, because we knew that it was probably going to get really busy again, and there wouldn't be time to there'd barely be time to go get food or to use the bathroom. So we're just enjoying the morning.
I thought it was up here.
All right, we're almost to Kylie's tent, and her business is called Fuzzbutt Boutique, and you're gonna see her sign that she has at the top of her tent, but she has a double space, and we just had time to actually talk to her and ask about things. And for somebody like her who has a lot of like pet themed items, she does really well at these events. So we were just kind of also sharing and giving advice with each other. Just really, really so thankful.
Still early morning, everybody's still getting set up. There's the stage, they're testing everything out, but as you can see, this is huge. And this feels like maybe, there might be even more like food trucks and things compared to some of the other art fairs that we've been to.
You guys want some stickers?
Thing as us when they thought
right, anybody looking for a gluten-free option, here it is. They have really good, it's Amish Annie's Donuts, and they do have gluten-free here, and it's delicious.
Quick view, we are pretty much selling out of everything that we have, and so it's just getting really bare inside of our tent, which is a good thing. All right, I'm all sweaty, but it is time to go back in and load all of our items. My husband's in there. I didn't get very many shots of everything, but I was pretty much sold out of, if I had anything left, it was pretty much like one piece, including earrings. Just did really well, exceeded expectations. Well, I should say I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, so any of our numbers that we previously had at our events, we did very, very well and exceeded all those expectations. So lots of fun. Today was a little bit different as far as like atmosphere, but we were in a nicely like shaded area as well. We weren't kind of by some of the larger like groups of other artists, but for the first year I would not going to complain about our numbers at all, just because we sold out of things. But now I have to get ready because we have huge shows coming up, and somehow I have to create all the pieces that I did in a month in like a couple weeks. So this should be really interesting. I might not be sleeping much. Thankfully this is my job now, and we'll see if I can actually get caught up again as far as our inventory, because we have some huge shows coming up this summer and then again in the beginning of the fall. So should be an interesting couple months. I might be scrambling. All right, but overall the experience was great as far as numbers and huge amount of attendance, and then we're gonna have to work on our Wi-Fi network so that we can get a better network for hotspot for occasions like this. All right, we'll see you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is the weekend is over, and our first experience at Twin Cities Pride was so many things at one time. So the setup, we actually had to drive through on the pathways that are normally walkways. We had to drive through, pull over to our spot, and a little bit of uncertainty because we didn't exactly know what we were doing or which entrances to go in, but their instructions on their packets, everything they had lined up as far as the information, being in contact with people via email, letting them know what times or where to go, the volunteers, everything was very, very organized. The only thing that we had at the end on the last day, and I didn't show a clip of that because I actually had to go get the vehicle while my husband tore down, so we couldn't do any video of like the tear down or anything. And I had to try to drive around through some closed streets and wait. There was a really long wait to get back into the park, Loring Park in Minneapolis, in order to pack everything back away. And we did talk to another artist who said that's the longest wait that he's had, but overall, considering what had happened, we've had very many good things and just like smaller things that weren't quite so great, but it's part of doing events and shows. Overall, though, I mean, the attendance at the event, I had heard other people talk about it, and it sounds like it was better than last year. We had no idea what to expect. I mean, when I talked about like selling out before or getting close to, we had very small inventory. So you try to make extra, and there's some of the things because they're more holiday, like Christmas time-ish. So I usually try to have all seasons. All of my stuff, pretty much, I have to remake so many things, and this was such a good problem to have. But just kind of blown away by all of the people who really appreciated our creations and our artwork. And I would have to say, like, the Saturday attendance was so busy that our Wi-Fi stopped working for a little while because of all the interference. And thank you to Kylie from Fuzzbutt Boutique, the little funny name. You are an angel. She stopped by because, you know, we have met a lot of other people and creators to see how we were doing. It was one of our first times there. She just happened to be there at the right time. She did not have to help us. She let us borrow her phone on Saturday because our carrier, T-Mobile, was not getting any signal. The signal was being jammed because there were so many people packed into the area, and we had experienced this before at another really highly attended event. But she has a Verizon like business plan, and her service, she's never had a problem. So if you're looking for one, she's been in a lot of convention centers. Some of the ones that I do hear frequent complaints from, she's never had a problem. So she has the Verizon business plan. She let us borrow her second phone she has. The next day, she let us borrow her router for free. She was not going to charge anything, but I wanted to show her appreciation, and she had the most adorable cat and pet themed things that I had to get some. So I just show you my haul. Look at him. I'm calling him Nightwatch. So this is one of her plushies. It's one of her popular plushies, and I just love him. He's so cute. So I bought one of those on Saturday from her, and I actually like rounded up all the numbers and gave her extra tip because she let us borrow her Wi-Fi at a show when she was busy herself. Did not have to do that. Just thank you so much. And then check this out. It's so funny. Here's the shirt. Hopefully I'm hoping it's not backwards. Maybe it's better that it is, because hopefully it doesn't cause any problems with the algorithm. But this is one of the fun t-shirts that I got. And so I just, those are a few of the things that I purchased. I also purchased something from, and I'd have to go find it, an author, a writer, Chris Straub, and that's Straub. We talked with him extensively at the springtime Canterbury Park event, where he's there in the spring and the fall. And I did finally purchase one of his Yeti plushes, his book. He signed it because he's the illustrator. And he has a whole apparel line too, centered around like the books that he's illustrated. And so I picked up the bundle and got the plush plus the book and had him sign it. Just really great to see other people. We did not get to connect with some other people that we normally run into at the events, including another 3D printer called Phil from Warforged Prints, who's opening his own shop locally. But again, you'd be able to find them all on like Instagram and social media. Just the crowd at this event at Twin Cities Pride, so supportive. I would have to say that like Saturday's crowd, the crowds on Saturday versus Sunday just felt completely different. I don't know why that was, but they were just so fun, so happy, so appreciative of the people who were there. I mean, we could hardly keep up. We didn't really have time to take breaks, even though we had to, for like very short amounts of time. This well exceeded our goal that I had in mind. And if anybody's looking to do, and I'll tell you the range, between 5 to 10K at one event, this would be one of the events. I cannot guarantee that, obviously, because it's going to fluctuate. I'm hearing that the numbers were up from last year, and I know some other people did above 5K last year, so I can only imagine what their numbers are this year. Just so great, supportive, so much attendance this year. And Sunday we had a few times where we had so many transactions, we don't even know. There may have been a few items that may have walked off. We don't know. That was one of the kind of the down points. And then we hope that didn't happen. We did find one item that actually blew off of one of our stands. And then another couple young girls came in and they knocked over one of my husband's pieces that he had on his table, and it broke. So they did say they were sorry, but you could tell they were intoxicated. So Sunday, and that was just before we left. Just a very different crowd on Sunday compared to what we were used to. It seemed like, I don't know if it was also like there was so many age ranges. But it just seemed like, also I felt like on Sunday towards the later of the evening, that there were some people who weren't really, and I don't know if I'm being too, I have no idea, but it kind of felt like there were some people who were not really there to celebrate Pride. I don't know how else to put it, because they were so intoxicated and they just didn't seem like that's what they were there celebrating. But I don't know. So everybody else, there were so many kind people that we ran into. So many people came back that were at events. A nice couple that does follow us stopped by, but I had actually sold out of some of the items that they were looking for, and all of my new pieces that I did totally sold out. Our shelves were so bare. I was actually, so the stands that you're seeing at the very top, I was actually removing stands. One of my bottom shelves completely empty. So, and then I took out 3 to 4 extra stands, just blown away by all the support there. And yeah, even though it was a lot of setup and a lot of work, definitely very rewarding. And also because even though we couldn't attend some of the event things, it was just a lot of fun. The atmosphere was a lot of fun. I loved seeing people. There were so many people that were dressed up. There were so many people expressing themselves. It just felt really good compared to some of the events that we go to. And hopefully we can participate in something like this again, or maybe even go to a different area to celebrate more than one, just because of the experience that we had and the organizational level of the event too. Of course, there's going to be some little snafus like I just talked about, but those are so minor compared to the pluses and compared to most of the people that we ran into. So overall, very good feedback of the event and all of the entertainment, all of the other people, even with tons and tons of other artists and other creators and organizations. I was just so surprised. I had no idea what to expect, but I did not expect reaching the number that we did financially. Very unexpected because we are new. We were also in an area that's quieter. We had no idea. And I thought we were gonna maybe do maybe around 2K after the first day. And I am always so nervous, and I don't want to be too negative, but I'm always just worried that we're not even gonna make our table space cost back. But we definitely well exceeded every expectation at the Twin Cities Pride event in Minneapolis. So just big shout out and thank you to everybody who stopped by. Had a lot of fun meeting you and getting to talk with you, and just thank you so much for appreciating what we create. And that's all that I have for the end review of Twin Cities Pride. And if you have questions or anything, you can go ahead and make some comments in there. And thank you so much for following us. Remember to hit that bell, like, and subscribe. And there will be more events in the future.
Well, that is all for the event that we were able to capture at Twin Cities Pride 2024, and we're just ending with some videos of things that we created, and just there's a fun furry couple that we met, and just showing some of the final pieces that we did get ready for this event that were popular with everybody. And now we have to get busy and create some more. But again, big shout out to everybody who was at the event. We loved meeting you and just had a really good time with you and connecting to other fellow creators who were also just very appreciative and so generous. And hopefully this is an event that we can participate in again, just because we had such a good time. And again, remember to hit that bell, like, and subscribe, because we're going to continue to try to record and share with you. And there's our show lineup for the rest of the year. We're also going to squeeze in the Aquatennial at the end of July in Minneapolis. So hopefully we can meet you again. Bye, everybody.